this evening's meeting to order. And is there anyone special to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
You know what, there's not today, and I looked at our agenda and made the Pledge of Allegiance. I flag is in the ROTC, so we're going to stand and pledge the imaginary flag. We should. We do not have anyone stand.
I appreciate the attention.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And can I have a motion to approve the minutes from June?
So moved.
And a second, thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda, but there are some personnel changes as we had prepared you for on Thursday. We expected we have a few more, so when we get to the action items, if it's okay, I'll let Dr. Blankenship highlight some additional changes. This is our last official board meeting before school starting, so many of our school leaders are here and they were trying to make sure that everybody was staffed appropriately, so we have a few additions from Thursday, so that's the only other changes to the agenda.
Okay, with that said, is everybody okay with making a
So move that we approve the agenda.
agenda?
Second.
Thank you. And superintendent comment?
Very good, thank you. Mr. Bryant, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So we do, because you can't see us, I want you to know that we have a room full of wonderful leaders, and so I'd like to take just a couple of minutes to introduce some faces that are relatively new to us. Some of them you may have seen, but I don't think this being our first official meeting of the FY18 school year, I'd like to make sure all of our board members as well as our school and district leaders know the new faces in the room. So I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but if you don't mind, if you could stand so everybody can see you when I introduce you. I know right here, Miss Erin Bryant. Thank you for joining us. Those of you who do not know Erin, she has just joined us very recently. I don't know if you want to say a couple of words. She is a parent as well as an outstanding asset to our finance department.
Sure, yeah, I just joined financial support with Anna, coming from owning my own business the last 10 years and working from home, and before that a CFO in medical corporate world, and so I'm really excited to see this side of the world and get involved in my community and where my kids go to school. So we're at Gum Springs and about to start one at West Jackson Middle. Excited to be here.
Well, we're grateful you're here, so thank you for joining us. Very, very good timing. We're going to introduce Mr. Hayes in just a minute, but I'm going to go back to Ms. Neeson. Can you stand up? Some of you may have had the privilege of working with her, but I don't know that our board has officially met. This is Jan Neesmith, and she's our new special ed director. And so, welcome, coming to us from Madison County. And you share anything you'd like to share?
I'm just very excited about it. I have been in Madison County for 24 years and have had a variety of positions there, going from the classroom to building level up to system level. I'm just excited about coming here and all the wonderful things. I've had such a wonderful welcome with everyone, and just look forward to working with everyone and just continue to do great things.
Absolutely. We're thrilled you're here. Thank you. She's already been busy at work. She and Mel spent some time today visiting a site. So thank you. And I think everyone has met Ms. Flippen, but Kat is with us again, and she's now truly official as our director of personalized learning and innovation. So we've already got some great work happening with that. And Mr. Nicholson shared some of those things at our work session, and we'll be sharing that with our principals on Thursday. But we're excited about our new teacher orientation and a lot of the way we're trying to model personalized learning for our teachers as well as our students. So very good. Thank you all for being here. Just a couple of comments. I want to send a very special thank you out to Josh Patton and Dennis and everyone who's worked hard this summer. If you didn't know this, principals and school leaders, we have schools getting painted, we have schools that are getting new roofs, we have schools that are getting some modifications, so there's a lot of hard work that's going on, and I think we're going to be more than ready to start school. Also had a lot of rain, which is a blessing for us to prevent drought, but it's made things a little more challenging. Putting a roof on with rain is hard to do. Yeah, but things are looking really good, so thank you, and I think the summer prep has gone very well. Another celebration that I don't even know if our principals have heard yet, but Ms. Dodge, I'm gonna let you, tell the board and our school leaders here that are with us today, the final update on our June 30 closeout for the FY17 school year.
Well, yes, Thursday, I presented you, the interim for the year end, and over the weekend, we closed and, have all the information in for the fiscal year 17 year, and we are ending with over $8.5 million of fund balance. Yeah. Yes, I know. It's just wonderful. It's a great place to start our new year and good things, and
it is great. And so Thursday, we certainly shared our great appreciation and great wishes towards Mr. Hitzkes, and he certainly led a great deal of this work. But we also want to make sure that we send a very special thank you to our schools,
yes,
and to our teachers, because ultimately you all have made this happen. Okay, the vision was there, but you all had to put legs to it, and we're not there yet. We want to keep being excellent and efficient,
Yes.
but we are in a much better place now than we were, and so this does buy us a little bit of flexibility, and that helps us. And most excitedly, we may be able to have the first year in a long time we don't have to have a tan. And so if we can,
yeah,
we
and
can not have.
I'll go back and see how long it's been, but I mean, at least 15.
We've had
at least 15
since I've
years.
been here, and I'm on 9.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
I've never
cause I mean, yeah, I mean, I know we were doing them even before the
Oh, yeah.
recession period.
Oh, yeah, we were. Well,
So
I'm
just
still
because of
working
the
on it.
timing of the tax money coming in, but it's, I mean, it's very, very possible that we'll make it this year without one.
That's
So,
awesome.
moving forward instead of backwards.
Absolutely.
Great.
And Anna and Aaron and the department are doing great work and continue to lead the efforts in terms of efficiency. And so our Monday lunches are now district performance. I mean, really, we're doing a PLC, and so we're doing a lot of conversations and planning about effective budgeting, and Anna's going to lead our work with all. We have lots of new faces. We want to continue to work. So very good. Thank you so much. And I think we should mention for our principals and folks that were not here at the work session that we also had a record SPLOST month. We had a $589,000 collection. That's year over year, and it's the highest we've.
Yeah, year over year, month over month,
So
month over average, yeah.
very good news. That's confidence in the consumer. They're spending money, and we'll take it. So that helps us. So it's exciting to bring some good news. So I wanted you all to have those financial reports that were final. And again, thank you, Anna, who worked all weekend to make that happen, and we're grateful for that. Mr. Schultz asked to join us today, and I appreciate it. Mr. Schultz and I spent some time together with Ms. April Sorrow and Ms. Kathy Wilbanks, who went with us to Macon on Friday to continue the work with our grant for our College and Career Academy. Where every opportunity I have, we're blessed to have community partnerships, and these folks just gave of their professional and personal time to go with us. So we had a great day, and I think we're making great progress. But would you share with us what you've got on our Perkins
Yes.
grant this year?
Well, we're getting our Perkins approved. We got our letter when I was at Gadsden this past week.
Right?
It has not loaded up into the grant yet on the state side, but it is a little bit higher than what it was last year.
Great.
That's a good thing. One of the things that we always look at and what we're spending is going through our core indicators. And I've gone through, we've got some data going back a few years. We are on a lagged result. I mean, this is from 15-16, so I mean, there's things that we have done this past year that's already hopefully even improved even more. But we're doing well on our core indicators. There were 2 that we did not meet, which we have to look at, and that was mathematics and also technical skill attainment. But I also wanted to share on the very back page there's a list of this past year of the different, they call it the EOPAs, it's the end of pathway assessments. The percentages, and we're doing much better each year. There was a few new assessments that we tried with different instructors, trying to see which one fit the best, and that's where we kind of get some of the low ones, and some of them were only like one student taking an assessment and things like that. So we're always looking at those. They say they're not going to be changing any for this year as compared to last, so hopefully, like I said, we can really focus on those ones that we're still not meeting 100% on those, but I'm very proud of our instructors of the way they've been helping the students again. And when you looked at the number of students, these are national assessments, and to think about what our our students are getting in our schools. We tested over 312 students, both at East Jackson and Jackson County High School, and 213 of those students actually are walking away with national accreditation or some type of assessment or something that can go on to their future. They put it on their resume, they put it on something like that. So it's not just a state test. These are national merits, I guess you could put with it. So I think that's a great testament of what our teachers are doing for our kids in our program. You're welcome to look through some of the things, I guess, like you said, when you look, this is a plus that I really like too, is student school diploma and also the graduation rate and also the secondary placement. A lot of times, the secondary placement, this was really interesting too. When you're looking at the system performance at 98.8%, that means that students that are in those concentrators in those programs, that means that they're taking a minimum of 3 classes. They're either going into some type of post-secondary or directly into a work field at that point. And when you've got that many kids reaching that 98.8%, that tells you something too. The kids are going on. It's not just the end of the road type deal. But one of the requirements is that the Board of Ed does approve our Perkins budget and that stuff as we go forward. But I greatly appreciate if we can approve for this year.
Okay, very good. Proud of the work that happens with our CTA. Many of us have had conversations. All of our classroom teachers have a greater impact than they realize, but these applied courses like this and some of our fine arts and so forth, the relationship ability and the impact that they have on kids is long lasting. So this is important work. So thank you for sharing that and the work that we're doing with the College and Career Center. You also just will be reminded that we'll be starting school. The first day of school is on August the 4th. And new teacher orientation is next week. It will be Wednesday and Thursday. You are more than welcomed. On Wednesday, we'll be having a luncheon at East Jackson High School. Thank you to Mr. Dixon for hosting us and to Dr. Morris making sure that we, as always, have a fine event. And then we'll have them there on Thursday as well. And we have some exciting approach with a very personalized approach. Our new teachers will actually have almost the equivalent of a new teacher conference, and they'll have some choice in the kinds of sessions that they participate in. There's some that are obviously going to be offered on Wednesday, which are the ones that we expect everyone, but then we're going to give them some choice on Thursday, and I appreciate the work that's gone into that. I think it'll be a great experience for those new teachers. I would love something like that, so that's going to be good. And the pre-planning will be here before we know it, and then we'll be rolling right into our first day of school on August the 4th. So you're welcome at any of those, and we'd love to see you. Before we look at action items, if I could ask Dr. Blankenship, and I'd like us to introduce our recommendation for the new AD as well, and maybe give him an opportunity to say
Yes. So it's an exciting time to be in Jackson County. We have, I did a little calculation today with the help of Michelle Bowen, who's just, again, been a fabulous addition to the HR team. And so I want to share just a few statistics. I mentioned the other day at the work session that we had been able to hire some Jackson County graduates and also some of our parent volunteers who have gotten certified and who are getting certified. So that's exciting to me because that says that people want to work where they live. And so in that vein, let me just share a few statistics with you before I introduce our AD recommendation and share some other personnel updates with you. So we have currently 78 new hires for the upcoming school year. 3 of those are central office support positions, Ms. Bryant, and then our 2 network engineers who are being recommended tonight. Of the 78, 46% of those reside currently in Jackson County. And quite a few others have indicated their desire to move to Jackson County, to relocate to Jackson County. So those are not in that figure, so I expect that it'll be well over 50% once those people make their transition. Of the 78 new hires, 24% of those previously worked last year in Gwinnett County. That was the largest number from any one given system. Of the new hires of the 78, 38% did not teach last year. So they're coming to us either as a recent graduate, someone who is re-entering the teaching workforce, or they are coming through an alternative certification method. So that was 38% of the 78. And then finally, of those, that largest percentage that is coming from Gwinnett, 68% of those are already living in Jackson County. So these are people who live in Jackson County, were not able to find jobs here previously, worked in Gwinnett, and when they got the opportunity to come back home, they did. And so I think that speaks very highly of what we're building here in Jackson County, and the fact that people want to work and live in the same place, I think speaks volumes to our community.
Those are great statistics.
They are.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Thank you for.
And I have the raw numbers if you'd like them, but percentages.
That's good. That's good.
All right.
So we do have a number of additions to our personnel list. Today has kind of been like as busy as Black Friday here in the central office, trying to get this in. Amanda has just worked tirelessly. So you can see that our new hire list grew by a few, and one of those is our recommendation for athletic director at Jackson County High School. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Brad Hayes. And Mr. Hayes, if you'd like to say a few words.
Yeah. I guess I'll just tell a little bit about myself.
Sure, that'd be great.
Mentoring, I was trying to count it up earlier today. This is my 19th year in education. I'm a social studies teacher and coach. I think over the 19 years, I think I've gained a respect for coaches across the board. I've served as a head coach in 5 different sports and been an assistant in many sports as well. Going off what Dr. Blankenship just said, I've lived in this community for 11 years. I've worked in Jackson County schools. This will be my 3rd year here. When I left Gwinnett County, which is where I was before, I told Dr. Jones this is the only place that I would ever want to work is in Jackson County. This place is near and dear to my heart. We will be here until I get told to leave or until I die. I have a son who's a 5th grader at West Jackson Elementary and loves it. We love these schools, and I'm really just honored and humbled to be put up for the position. So it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I didn't think that I would get the opportunity, and I'm really, really excited about the possibility of how many students I'll be able to impact in that role. So I hope that is good.
It sounds good. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
So as you know, Mr. Hayes is, or Coach Hayes, I don't know how your title will evolve, but Mr. Hayes is assuming the role that Adam Lindsay has filled for the past few years, and he transitioned to Gainesville City, and we certainly wish him well. He did a lot of great things at Jackson County High School, but we know Brad is just going to keep it rolling and take it even higher. Just so that you're aware, he has become known as somewhat of our graphics guy. The shirts and so forth that we designed that say House United, Mr. Hayes did those, and he's done a lot with some of the imaging that you all are using for your new Panther, some of your Panther logos. So many talents. So we're glad to have you in that role and appreciate the work that you're going to do and have already done. So.
So you'll see on the second page there are a few more transfers, and that really, much of that is related to filling of positions that were vacated, and we were able to fill those from people within the system. And then we did get a couple of more resignations, but again, we have been able to fill most of those from within the position, within the system. We do have a couple of parapro positions still left to fill due to some late resignations, but as far as teaching positions, we only have one left to fill, and that is the one that's being vacated by Mr. Hayes. So I know that Dr. Jones is working on that, and hopefully we'll have a recommendation soon. The other, I guess the other addition to point out is Karen Bridgman, who we're recommending to move from 63% communications coordinator to 100% communications coordinator. She's done a phenomenal job this year getting our message out to the community, and so that work is definitely a full-time job.
Tammy Love has been with us for a long time. I think all of her career has been in Jackson County.
She started in Hall County. She
Oh, did she
and I
start in
talked
Hall?
today.
Okay.
She
All right.
did.
Yeah.
And
Hate
I
to see
spoke
her
with her,
go.
I know, and she, it should be said that she's she's found a passion for ESOL students. And so she's been doing that work at North Jackson and done a very good job with it, but she was looking for an opportunity to grow into leadership in ESOL. And so they have a much larger population there, and I think she feels a greater potential for trajectory of leadership there in ESOL. So she's going to Hall County, but you're right, she's been with us a long time and has done great work. And of course, in my conversation with her, I said, after a few years, you just come right back, because the need is likely to grow for us. We just don't have that full-time position need right now, but in time, that's likely to be a need. So.
And we have enough bus drivers to start with. I noticed we have a
Yes,
good
we've
many.
added quite a few bus drivers, and after talking to Mr. Farmer, he feels very confident that we can have full slate of bus drivers ready to go.
Good.
They've been working hard. They were here testing Saturday morning. We have the last few that were
They added one more today.
Yep, from that test on Saturday. Yep.
Very good.
So that's good. That's for sure. There are other items I can go over just to make sure that the board can choose to do consent, or we can go item by item. I just wanted to point out that you'll see, as I prepared you for on Thursday, we are asking for an $800,000 allotment for additional buses. One of those will be a special ed replacement bus, and then also up to $250,000 for new teacher laptop procurement, and we're starting that process pretty quickly here. Mr. Summer and Ms. Flippin have been working on that. You saw the code of conduct on Thursday. It's very little changes. There were not many legal impacts this year from the legislature, so our code of conduct is pretty much the same as it's been in terms of consequences, just basic revisions. And of course, the board's annual training to be approved, and the rest of that I think is already been attended to.
Now, how many buses will we be purchasing with this?
We're purchasing
Seven.
7, right, and then one special ed.
And one special ed.
So an 8, a total of 8.
Yeah.
That's good. Very good. Okay.
We're
Any other
back on that cycle that we used to be on.
We're trying. We're trying.
It took a while. Yeah, it took a while.
I think we've shared this statistic many times, but I think we're right at
way behind.
80% of our fleet is completely depreciated. So if we were to replace all that we needed, it would be about $7 million. So we're gonna have to take it a little bit at a time, but we're making progress.
This is
It's
much
a
better
good
than we've
start.
been able to do in the
It's the
past, so
biggest
that's
deal we've
great.
been able to put in
That's
a long
A
exactly
time.
long
right.
time, yeah.
So may I have approval for consent agenda? Steve, did you have a question? Okay.
He said so moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. And unless there's any other discussion, we go ahead and adjourn.
So
No
moved.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right.
Very
Very special.